Hello and welcome to my channel. I just wanted to do like an update on the timeline of Gabby Petito and what happened and say, this is so upsetting for everybody. And, we didn't know her, but some of us have lost our loved ones and our children to horrific things that have happened. And it really just touches you that something so horrific could happen. Anyway, they got into a fight on the 12th, and there was a 911 call that said he slapped her and then he proceeded to hit her. And I saw on TV today that they were saying that there was another witness that saw him hitting her as well. And then there was a witness saying that it's taken her phone away and she was trying to get her phone back and he wouldn't let her in her van. And she was saying to him, "Why are you being so mean?" And then there was a misunderstanding when the police pulled him over, and he was acting like he hadn't done anything, and she was just crying and sobbing and so upset, and they separated them, and there was miscommunications as the officers didn't seem to have all the calls from the 911. And then they put him in a motel and she stayed in the van, is my understanding. And I really wish she would have just left and drove away at that time. So, anyway, this is in Moab, Utah, where those two ladies were murdered between the 13th and the 17th. And this is happening on the 12th. It's out front of a grocery store or a little store that one of the ladies that was murdered between the 13th and the 17th was working at. And it says Brian made 2 Instagram posts from Moab, Utah, I think, on the 13th. And they say that the case is unrelated, but Moab's a very small town. It's a little town with around 5,000 people. And if you've ever lived in a small town, people communicate very quickly, and everybody knows everybody. So even if they would have said to somebody in that town, "Hey, we're traveling with our van," somebody else in the town might have said, "Oh, these people stay in their van and have been living in their van and they probably can help." And he stayed in a motel, so he could have easily went to McDonald's. Didn't one of the ladies work at McDonald's? He could have easily went there and met one of them. I don't know if they met or if they didn't. And I thought they took a picture under the arch, and I think those other ladies were camping near there, so I don't know. It seems like they would have had so much to talk about. And then other people say that, like, she was posted on Instagram and that suddenly her Instagram posts were different. And I don't know if she used a lot of hashtags and before, or if her posts were shorter before, and if her spelling was different than his. So I don't know how to tell to look at her Instagram to see if there's less hashtags or if there aren't any hashtags, or if I think I saw one and it looked like there were no hashtags and it was long, and at the end he had tagged himself if he had done it, like he had signed it, but she could have posted that, I don't know, or he could have posted it. And then it says somebody said that Brian left to go to Florida from the 17th to the 23rd to move her things out. But did he go to Florida? And did he go on the 17th? Because what if he didn't go on the 17th? I just, I don't know. I don't know. Have they arrested anybody with those ladies' murders? And it was a couple, Kylen and Crystal, and they were found shot at their campsite. They were last seen on the 13th. Their last text supposedly says they are being stalked, or there's a strange man there, and he's the way he's looking at them. they said if they wind up dead, that they're murdered. And like I said, it said not to be linked, but it's my understanding there hasn't been an arrest made, but it's not like we would know. And they were last seen leaving Woody's Tavern in Moab on August 13th, and their partially dressed bodies were discovered by a friend or acquaintance with multiple gunshot wounds, and they were found on the 18th of August near their campsite in La Salle Mountains near Moab, and I think it's near that arch thing. And like I said, the 911 call, he was seen hitting her Gabby outside of Moab Grocery Co-op, and that's where the one lady worked. So it just seems like they could have easily met or spoken anywhere. Even if just when he stayed the night in the motel, if he went to McDonald's or something to get something to eat, you know. Anyway, and I know that said that she stayed at a hotel, the Fairfield Inn and Suites near Salt Lake City or in Salt Lake City, and she checked out either on the 24th or the 25th, and I don't know how many days she stayed there, but they say it was more than one. And I heard that even though Brian's allegedly flew back to Florida from the 17th to the 23rd or 25th or whatever, but that it wasn't confirmed or proven. So, and if he did, he was supposed to go to move Gabby's things into a storage unit, but did he go? And were they moving them into the storage in the backyard, or did they rent a storage unit? And did the police search the storage unit or look to see if there was a storage unit? Hopefully they did. And it says August the 25th, Gabby FaceTimes her mother from Grand Teton. A lady claims they were in Victor, Idaho on the 25th or the 26th, she said. She wasn't sure if it was the 25th or the 26th at her store. And then Gabby posted Happy Halloween. It was her final post. She either posted it on the 25th or the 26th. I think she posted it on the 26th, but it was near the hotel that she stayed at. So she could have, had the picture taken before she checked out or as she was checking out and they were going down the road. Did he have the van and pick her up, or did she have the van while she was at the hotel? Anyway, Gabby's last Instagram post was on the 26th and was posted from the Monarch, which is at 455 25th Street in Ogden, Utah. If you've never been to Ogden, it's just a wonderful place with wonderful people. The photos that were taken from painted its parking lot that wasn't far from the hotel she stayed in. So, and I wonder who took that photo or the photos that she had there. Anyway, I don't know if he stayed. I don't know if she stayed at the hotel that was by the airport or one of the other ones. And then that white van that was parked near where her body was found, there was a witness or several witnesses, it says, that saw him parking the van, and he was the only one in the front of the van when it was parking, and he was acting odd, and they say that the van sat there until the 29th. So they're saying that the van was parked there on the evening of the 26th, and it stayed there until the 29th. So, I mean, was she dead in the back on the 26th when he parked there? Is that why he was acting strange, or had he already moved her corpse? And then there was a man that said he came out of the West Gate August 26th or the 27th in Bullwinkles bar. He's around 10 p.m. and he saw and spoke to Brian alone. We thought it was Brian, but it may not have been him. And then her mother said she received text messages on the 26th and the 27th from Gabby, but she didn't think it was actually, or some kind of messages, but she didn't think it was actually from Gabby. And so and her van was seen parked there on the 27th on the side of the road. there's a video of somebody driving by, a couple of videos of different people driving by in different directions on the 27th, and one of them's going by between 6 p.m. and 6:30, and at least one or two of her shoes are on the ground outside of it, and it looks like the door was open a little bit, and then they said that the door might have been ajar and then closing as the vehicle approached. So, and we were all wondering, is she alive at this point? And then it looks as though there may be like pipes laid out there, or perhaps someone dragged a couple of dead trees and they're laying on the ground to the left of the van. Someone called it a walkway, but it looks as though somebody dragged a couple of trees there or something. I don't know if they were there before or if it's just pipes for water, but if he needed to get her body out, and I mean, he could have driven to where her body was. They could have spent the night there on the 25th. And parked by that creek, and then he could have moved the van there the next day on the 26th and left it there. Or I don't know, he could have parked there on the 26th and dragged the trees there and tried to drag her body across there. And then off on the left, people say that it looks like there's a person sitting or leaning, but it's black, so it looks like it's like black or wrapped up or something. And I don't know, is that her? Because they thought it was him, but it doesn't, the way it's leaning, I don't know. Is it her wrapped up in a tarp where he could say it's a tent? Or, it's just, I don't know what it is. It could be some kind of something else, but you can see it and it kind of sticks out. So, I don't know. And I couldn't tell if the van door was closing or if that was the ladder. And that was the 27th. And then, and she was so terrified that he was just going to take her van and leave her in danger. It's like he'd done it before, but maybe it was because she had to fight to get her phone and she had to fight to get in the van because he was just going to leave her. But she may have been safer if he had left her. And I wonder how many times, if he was hitting her, according to the witnesses, he was hitting her. And if he was hitting her in public, it makes you wonder how many times had he hit her in the past, and had he hit her in front of his parents? Because if he's really hitting her in front of that store, then there's other people seeing it. Did his parents know that he was hitting her? I don't know. And when he came home alone, I still wonder, why didn't his parents call her parents or call the police? Why didn't her parents answer the phone why didn't his parents answer the phone when her parents are calling trying to get in touch with him? Why did he have a lawyer so fast? And, like I said before, if she had come back alone in her van to his parents' house without him, they would have reacted a lot differently. And then on August 27th, there was a strange message allegedly sent to her mother that included the words, "Can you help Stan?" And that is apparently the name of Gabby's grandfather, and she never referred to him as Stan, so she thought that that message wasn't from Gabby, which would have meant that somebody else would have had Gabby's phone and would have been messaging her mother while Gabby was dead, to try to hide the fact that she was dead, which makes you think that somebody doesn't want them to know that she's dead or to be looking for her. So, and then on the 29th, a woman claims that she ran into Brian and gave him a ride in Grand Teton, and it was near Showers or something, I think. And he was talking about going back to his wife or fiance, and she said that he said he was going to Jackson or Jackson Hole, and she told him, but then when they got to the dam, they were taking the road different from where the van was parked, and they were going the other direction. So he had them drop him off at the dam at 6:09 p.m. And he didn't mention the van, I don't think, but he might have. But anyway, so he wasn't actually going to Jackson, because if he was going to Jackson, he would have stayed in the vehicle with them going to Jackson. And he stated he had been hiking for several days along Snake River. So he was coming from further away from the van, and then getting dropped off at the dam would have put him more in the direction of going toward the van. And August 29th, Gabby was supposed to text and meet her best friend in Yellowstone, but she didn't do that, apparently, or allegedly. But we don't know if that was really Brian that the lady ran into that she gave a ride to, but the other lady said the other witnesses are saying that the van was parked there until the 29th. So, and the one lady said that he offered her $200 for a ride to get to the Jackson Dam, even though he said he was going to Jackson or Jackson Hole. So, was that him? What was he doing? And then she also said that he had been sleeping wrapped up in a tarp. So if he had her body wrapped up in a tarp, maybe did he take the tarp with him? And I don't know, to keep from getting the rain off or something. Who knows? I don't know, because we don't really know for sure that he did it, but a lot of us feel like he's acting like he did. And the van was parked there, according to a witness, around in the evening, August 26th, with Brian driving, acting strange, and he looked like he was alone. And she was always sitting in the front seat, so and she said that the van sat there until the 29th. And then August 30th, a text is sent to Gabby's mother from her phone saying, "No service in Yosemite." So the van is no longer parked there. And who's texting from her phone? Is her phone traveling without her? I mean, that's like I said before, did she ever even get to see Yosemite? Because she'll never get to get married. She'll never get to have children. She won't get to see her nieces and nephews or watch her brother go to her brother's wedding. Or, there's so many things that she'll never get to do. And then they said something about some device was turned off since September 1st. So was that her phone? And who turned the device off? I'm not sure what the device was, but I had made a note of it. And then the news stated that a neighbor said that he was home by the 1st and that he was riding his bike around with his mom, and he mowed the lawn, like nothing was wrong and everything was fine. And someone stated that there were new stickers put on the back of her van as he traveled alone to Floirda. I mean, why did he put stickers there? Why? Were they in the van that they had gathered when they were traveling before and not put on there, or was he just collecting stickers and putting them back on the van on the way back? Or did he put them there to cover them up? Or I don't know. It just seems crazy to put stickers on there. I don't understand that at all. And then on the September 17th, neighbors took a photo of a man who, it looks to me like he's wearing some kind of light brown tan shoes. They're like the color of brown skin, kind of. But somebody said he might be barefoot. But he was wearing dark, baggy pants and a gray shirt, and it looks like there might be a stripe running on the side of the pants. But I don't know if it was him. And whoever it was wearing sunglasses, and they were bald. And they said he was walking down Ulster or something like that, leaving. They said it was like he was coming away from the back of that property area. So I don't know if it was him or if it was another neighbor. But this was the 17th, and I think he was reported missing on the 14th. So, and then the police went into the Mustang, and they're not wearing gloves. And they appear to grab something, and they're leaning their legs on the car seat and stuff. And I don't know if that was theirs or if they had it already. And it looks like they put something in their pocket, not in a plastic bag or anything, and they weren't wearing gloves. And, it just, when it's a murder or something like that, you just wish they would think to wear gloves, but I don't know. Because it seems like, if it was her phone, I hope it wasn't her phone, because that might have had DNA evidence on it. I don't know. And then did Brian own a gun? Did she own a gun? Did they travel with a gun? And if they did, whose gun was it? Who is it registered to? And what happened to the gun? I mean, because those girls were shot, and they say it's not related, but I don't know, because it just it just seems like such a big coincidence that there would be two killers in that such a small area at the same time. And I don't know. The girl stayed at that campsite, and I think it was near where Gabby and Brian took that photo together, and I think the one girl worked at McDonald's, and I don't know if it was near the motel he was staying. If it's that small of a town, there's not that many places to go and that many things to do usually, but I haven't been to that town, so I don't know. But they easily could have met somewhere, or somebody could have said, "Hey, these two girls do this and that and the other," and suggested it. I don't know that they talked because they had so much in common, but who knows? Because maybe they didn't talk to other people while they were there. But anyway, it's just so sad, and I think that I hope I remembered everything, and I don't know, it just upsets me just thinking about it and how tragic it is, because her life is gone, and it's not right. There's no justice that's going to bring her back, and it's just it's forever. The pain of losing her for her family it's forever. There's no getting over it, and she will miss out on everything. And even if he killed her, then his life's over too. Whether he's alive or dead, his life is over, and his parents' lives, their their life's pretty much destroyed at this point. Because I just imagine that they might be the most hated people in America right now, because people feel like they got him a lawyer, and they feel like they didn't come forth, they didn't try to get a hold of her parents, they didn't answer the phones, and everybody feels like, what if this was my child? What if this happened to my loved one? It's so sad. It's so sad, and it breaks my heart because my son was murdered, and he was 22. He was the same age as Gabby when she got murdered, and it just makes you just want to you just anytime you read about it or hear about it, it just makes you tear up, and it really just crushes something inside of your soul. So anyway, if you have any comments, please feel free to leave comments, and thank you for tuning into my channel. Bye bye.